Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We're back.
Times three. It's nice.
So
It's
you're
like the
saying
secret
something about
Trinity.
Leo phase, and I just
Oh,
about
nothing.
talking.
And I don't even know, I don't even know. I would just tell you that I feel like a lot of the energies that have started this week, I would say I've noticed, is a lot of childhood stuff has come up. But it's a different perspective. It's almost like seeing it from our new adult eyes. I don't know. Like, so processing a lot of things, I feel like there's a lot of stuff, a lot of emotions and feelings that we can no longer suppress, and it's just coming forward, and people might be struggling in this time frame a bit. I know that it's a couple times that I was having a little bit of some struggles, but I've been talking through a lot of the stuff, so it's making sense to me, or I'm gaining understanding through what's being shared to me or information that comes in from spirit. So I don't remember everything where I was gonna go with everything when we were talking about it, because I start talking. And it's like, and then I was like, no, we can't do this. We can't be talking about this right now. We're not recording.
Yeah, we tend to go off on to come when we pause in between recordings. We tend to start a conversation. We're like, nope, can't talk. Shut your face. Got to wait until we record.
It was authentic right then. So then it's like, then I have to kind of walk back through the path again. If it's supposed to come through, it'll come
Yeah.
through. But I would just say that there's a lot of shifting, holy shifting going on. So as usual.
So we're in right now. It's August 31st, 2025, as we're recording this right now. We have 4 months left in the year. It's 2025, which is a 9 year, and a 9 year is a wrapping up of loose ends, clearing up some energy, maybe cleaning up your space, clearing the clutter. It's just clearing maybe your emails or the unhealthy relationships. Like it 9 is a wrap up year. We need a fresh slate. So when we start into the next year, 2026, that's a 1 year. And so we start with a fresh foundation. And so anybody who feels like things are coming to an end or things are shifting dramatically, or keep that in mind, that the year, so 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. So in numerology, there's a numbers between 1 to 9, 9 being the end of a cycle. Some people will say that's also equates death. Well, it's got to have a death to one thing for things to change and shift into something else. And so if that's the way you want to refer it to, that's okay. We just say it's shifting, it's changing, we're cleaning it up, we're clearing the slate, we're wrapping up loose ends. So if you're feeling any kind of like you're getting things done and just going through the motion, like you feel the need to really clean your house and clear all those piles, and it's probably why, because we're coming up to the end of this year. So even myself, I have some piles going on right here next to me, and it's like I gotta get this cleaned up. This needs to go, because also when you have that unhealthy relationships, loose ends, clutter everywhere, all the things, then it's creating stuck energy, and the energy can't flow well. So clear it up, get it done before the end of the year. There's some things on my computer that I got to get done. So just really see if you can just stay focused on getting these things done before the end of the year.
I'm glad. I would never have thought our conversation would have gone this way, but I'm so glad that it did, and it makes so much sense to me for me to close my office, for my daughter's cat to leave. Like there's endings because we're getting ready to go. Like you said, we're going into a 1, which is pretty awesome. I think it's awesome because it's new beginnings, and it's like we're finishing off things. It's almost like better start setting your intentions. But it kind of it is. We're always setting our intentions. We're always evolving forward, even sometimes when we don't think that we are. Sometimes maybe our steps are a lot smaller than, and some other times we take leaps.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. It is fascinating. I find it fascinating. And I am with people may think that a lot of that stuff doesn't make any sense or it's not even true, but it's like when you start looking at each of the years, just like when we do our 12-month reading, right? When we start doing that and we look back on things, even last year or whatever, we start having understanding about what that really meant. And oh, it really does make sense, because it really does. Even your own personal, going through your own personal years, because that's a group, for the global, we're going through this, right? The
Yeah.
2025, we're going from a 9 to a 1.
Yeah.
But we're going through other processes too. But it's like, it's learning about a lot of that stuff. It's exploring those things and finding out more about yourself and finding out the stuff that you do like. It's back to the same things again. What are your passions? What do you like? What are you creating? What do you want to have in your experience? We can be in the same old patterns as before and keep looking at the stuff that didn't feel good and keep creating from that space. Or we can be like, oh, okay, so that just happened, just so I could say, what would I rather like out of that? What would I rather experience than that? Or what am I ready for now? What does God want for me? All these little questions, we'll slip that in there.
Yeah.
But it's like, because sometimes you know, one of the things that I would heard someone very wise say, well, oh, you just want that house? Well, I was going to give you an island, you know, but because we hold on to these things, what we think how things should play out or how it should work, or this is what we want, and not being open for the rest of the stuff. And so now we're being open, because now we're looking at things, we're closing up things, we're clearing out stuff. This is a final, this is a 9, and we're going into the 1, we're going into fresh and new. And now when you look at that for even politics, you look at that for any of the stuff, the world stuff going on, all the stuff is coming to the surface right now, just like it is for us at home. And it's sending love to ourselves, but it's sending love to the whole world. It's sending love to everybody that's out there that's going through a lot of these processes too, because it makes you question a lot of things. And what's the best thing that we can do is send love. That's the best thing we can do. It's love. What can you even do better? Love yourself. Like really love yourself. And it switches the gears for everybody.
And as you're talking, what was coming to me also, because I just went to a celebration of life yesterday, is the person who passed had dementia, and people with dementia takes a lot of care. And so by their having their transition, meaning they transition through death, through passing, then that is an end of a cycle. And the people who were caring for that person now has new opportunity, because they're no longer focused on this person having this daily routine, having this for some people it's a burden. We're going to be real about this, the struggles of it. Like dementia is not an easy thing to move through with a person. And so once that door is closed, now the caretakers, whether that's a family, friend, nurse, doesn't matter who it is, now they have new opportunities, especially for family members or friends who've been caretaking. Now they have new opportunities, because they're no longer specifically focused on this person who is here. Because while they're focused, they're exhausted. They don't have room or time for anything else. That is their main focus. Always concerned, always worried about the person, making sure they're taken care of, making sure they're safe, like all the things, all the appointments, the doctor's appointments, the taking care of their needs. Like that's more than a full-time job. And once that door closes, because the person's transitioned, now that person who was doing the caretaking has all these opportunities of doing something different. So you can think of a door closing as death. You can think of the end of a cycle as death. However you want to refer to it, it's just an opportunity for something different.
And you know what kind of just crossed my mind as you're saying that? When we devote so much time to a person, so one part of me, like the victim, would say, you're going to have to change. Your life's going to be different now, because now your focus is no longer on this person anymore. So now it's going to feel, you're probably going to miss that person more now, because you're not having to get their medication every whatever. But on the other side of that, it's totally different. Yeah. Now that person's not there, like you were saying, you no longer have to, that focus of all that energy is no longer on there. And now if you say you don't have time, you do have time, because you had this person helped you show you that you had all this time that you could now devote to yourself that you didn't have to devote to somebody else. And it really is up to us to devote time to ourselves. It is up to us. I don't know what the world looks like differently as far as dementia and all that stuff goes. The more that we focus inward, I think it shifts everything. I mean, I really do. I don't think that dis-ease can survive in an area that's full of love and light all the time. It just isn't possible. So we're in the transitioning phase from where we're at now to that, to where we're not in that space anymore of feeling all the heaviness, because it's just a change of perspective. It's the perspective is changing. Am I going to work, or am I going to go see my friends? Am I going to celebrate life, or am I going to be miserable the rest of my life? Am I going to appreciate that I have a roof over my head and spend time in my home appreciating when I'm cleaning, or am I going to be coming from a victim space and angry because the house is dirty again? It's like we have too many dogs. Well, but I love all those dogs. So, it's finding the appreciation. It's just, like you said, it's an opportunity. All of it's an opportunity.
Yeah. It's all about perspective too. Even when you're in it, when you're in the discord and all that, it's all about perspective of this is a burden or I am blessed. Either way. And yeah, those times of struggle suck really bad. I'm not gonna lie. It's like not an easy thing to face, whatever it is, whatever the topic is. And what's it going to do for your growth? So what is it doing for you in taking care of this person? Well, you can ask questions. Well, the flip side of that is they're going to be in a home somewhere and I don't know how they're being taken care of. Whereas when I'm taking care of them, I know they feel loved and they're getting the best care that I can give them from a loving space, and they're nurtured. Or it's a super huge burden and you're exhausted and you're focused on all the things that suck about it and life is miserable. And so which side of that fence do you want to be on? Because it's going to determine your daily, how you show up on a daily basis. And it shows up in every facet of your life. So health, relationships, money, like it shows up your energy, because the way you are showing up in life is your energy, and your energy affects all topics of your life. So you get to decide, you're going to make this as pleasing as possible as you're moving through it, or it's the worst thing in the world and it just sucks. And I'm not perfect at either one of those. So I face challenges in life. And I also, it might suck in the moment, but I'm also like, this is an opportunity for growth. And I have to keep reminding myself of that. I have to keep reminding myself of that. What am I learning? What am I learning? What am I learning? Because if I get off of that question, then I will feel like it is the worst thing in the world. And then who knows where my mindset and energy is going to go from there. So I got to shift it.
So mine's recently gone back to the question, how can I get better than this? Which we talked about a long time ago, but that's where I'm at all the time. It doesn't matter if I'm in a good mood, if something rubbed me the wrong way, it doesn't matter. I'm asking all the time, how can I get better than this? And I'm constantly being shown different ways.
Yeah.
And with all the conversation we're talking about too, if I was to look at the school system, right, I could sit and bitch about it all day long. I'm not, because I really don't know what I would bitch about. I just don't, there's things that I don't appreciate or don't agree with. And so the other side of that is I'm getting things that are landing in my lap of, we're only doing a 3.5-hour school day. We do all this other stuff outside. We're doing stuff with our kids. It's not being in that same format anymore. We're not training people to be ready to go work in jobs for 8 or 9 hours a day. And that's okay because they've been in school that whole time. So they think that's acceptable. They think this is the way it's supposed to be, but we're being indoctrinated. We're being trained and taught to be a certain way when it's not necessary to be in that space like that. And so with all that being said, I could sit and look at all that stuff and find all the things that I don't like, but all that it was an opportunity to create all the things that I do want. It's like there are so many things out there that people are using yurts just to have a classroom out wherever, and it looks awesome. And then they're having kids that are 4 and 5 and 6 years old using saws and glue guns, obviously with supervision. But we've dumbed down a lot of the thoughts that they could be doing because they're capable of doing it. I mean, really, they all are. And kids love it when they can come in and help you do stuff. Like if you're going to do the dishes or do any of that stuff, the little ones love helping. There's a reason. And so it's like, I just kind of went off on a sideways thing, but but it is along those same path. It's along with everything we've said. However, we choose to look at it, it's all an opportunity. The school system that I grew up in doesn't have to be the school system that we have right now. And it's up to each of us to make that change. So if there's something out there that anybody is looking at right now and it's got your attention and it's triggering you, well, what if those triggers could turn into like passion because you're seeing it from that victim trigger area instead of seeing what would you like it to be. So it's always an opportunity for more growth. Okay, well then maybe that's a time for me to just be. I can sit with that and be like, well, okay, so what would school look like from my perspective that I would think would be beneficial for my inner child? And then start creating from that space. If someone's looking at politics, what would be beneficial for me to look at? This is the way it's being done right now, but what would I like it to look like? And then using our creativity, using our imagination and creating, writing it down, voicing it to other people, getting their ideas. And because when you voice it to them, they might trigger you or they might give you some great information that helps you to create more, or they're helping to create at the same time when they're giving out that information. So life can be freaking amazing or it can be miserable. It's up to us. It's a choice.
And you're using the school system as an example, but life in itself is a school system. So
It is
um,
all of it.
how do you want to perceive this life of a school of life? And in what Bev said is you get to create that experience if you want to. And that's your opportunity to be creative in what you want to have experienced in life, and keep playing with that and be playful with it and keep moving forward with it and shift and change and grow along the way. But this is life. Life is school. And what are you going to do with that information?
Yeah, sometimes you're going to be on the surfboard and sometimes you're going to be in the water.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get crushed by the wave for a minute too, being tossed and turned. But you're going to learn to be a better swimmer for sure. You're going to learn how to handle that wave that tries to take you down. You're going to learn how to navigate that. And each time it gets easier and easier and easier.
Did I tell you that I got almost bit by a snake recently?
Yeah, you said it just
Okay.
bumped your leg.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't sure if I had said anything or not. It was just, I found it fascinating, but I also recognized it as being protected too. So
Yeah,
just making sure I had brought it up because it was, to me, it's pretty interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You just got your attention. Say, hey,
Yeah. Yeah. Hey.
hey, this ain't your territory, sister. You need to move along.
Yeah. It's like, mother, get off my porch.
All right, friends. That was good. There's some good stuff there. There are other people on this planet having the same conversations or wanting this information. So be sure to be resourceful, share it, share the links, send them the videos, the books, the teachers you're listening to, whatever that looks like, but be resourceful. And so you can find us on many platforms: YouTube, Spreaker, Spotify, Podcast Addict, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. So I've been doing this for over 5 years, every week. So every time I think about that, I'm like, wow, it's been awesome. It's been a good journey.
It has.
So with that, thanks for hanging out with us. Tea Time with Amy and Bev, and we will see you next time.
Have a good day.